Hi, and welcome back to another edition of Cartooning Class. In today's class, we're going to talk about how you can do some warm-up exercises before you begin your final art so that your hand is warmed up and you're able to draw as fast and efficiently as possible. The reason why this is important is the same reason why it's important for any athlete before a game to warm up, to do stretches and to do drills to practice. With your hand, you've got bones and muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints, all of these different parts that have to work together very, very effectively in order to be able to do these fine details and have advanced control over your hand as you're working. So to warm up, one thing that I like to do is to combine both straight lines and curved shapes. So I'll do a whole page of straight lines to begin with, where I'm trying to draw as straight as I can, trying to follow the edge of the paper. I'm trying to do it as long as I can and keep it as straight as I can. And there's going to be a little bit of wobble. And you'll notice that as your hand warms up, the lines are going to become straighter. You're going to be able to control the line for longer down the page, and it's going to get easier as you go. You're going to be able to work a little bit faster as you go too, as your hand warms up. The next thing I like to do is to draw circles. And I start off with one circle, and I draw another circle inside of it, and another circle inside of that, and I keep going until I run out of room, and then I do another circle. And I try and fill up the page as densely as I can with as many circles as I can. And again, when your hand warms up, you're going to notice that the circles are going to look more symmetrical. You're going to be able to draw them bigger, and you're going to be able to draw them faster, and you'll just notice that it gets easier as you go. So by the time you're done, you should have really straight lines and really symmetrical circles. They're not going to be perfect, but you'll definitely notice a difference from when you start to when you end. So keep that in mind. If you feel like you're warmed up early, you can stop early. If you feel like you need to keep going, you can always do another page too. So you want to pay attention to what your hand is doing. There's going to be a little bit of a wobble. The hand doesn't normally create a perfect circle, and you want to notice why as you're doing your own circles. You want to pay attention to what your hand is doing, and you're going to see little bumps in the circles, and that's created by the way that the bones and the joints are rubbing up against each other as your hand goes around. So as you do the circles, you'll get a better idea for what your hand does naturally and how you can adjust that to get more symmetrical circles, right? So once you get done with that, you fill up an entire sheet with circles, an entire sheet with lines. Excuse me. Then you're going to move on to pick an object or an image. It can be from real life, it could be from a photo, or it could be somebody's art. I would say the best option is to pick something from real life, a real object that you can observe directly. The second best option would be a photograph of a real object, and the third best option would be somebody else's artwork, right? The reason that is because when you're working directly from observation, you can see the lighting, you can see the forms, you can see much more than you can from a photograph, and you can see even more from a photograph than you can from somebody else's artwork that's stylizing the information, okay? Once you pick what you want to draw, you're going to draw it 3 times. You're going to draw it for 1 minute, and then for 5 minutes, and then finally for 15 minutes. And each time you want to draw as quickly as you can, and you want to be drawing as quickly during the 1 minute drawing as you are during the 15-minute drawing. So don't slow down at all, even though you've got more time, right? So the objective here is to both observe and capture more information each time that you set out to do one of these exercises. So in a minute, you're only going to be able to capture so much information. You want to try and capture the basic shapes and forms of the object, but you're not going to be able to get any details. In 5 minutes, you're going to have time to move on to some of those details. And in 15 minutes, you're going to really be able to get into the nuts and bolts of the details as long as you're working really quickly. But you want to make sure you're drawing just as fast during the 1 minute as you are during the last of the 15 minutes. So the total warm-up time should be about 30 to 45 minutes or so. It does take a little bit of time, but you don't have to do it every single day. If you're drawing every day consistently, you might only need to do this when you take breaks from drawing for a day or two, but you want to at least do it for a little bit of time each day, just to make sure your hand's where you want it to be. The more you do this, the more aware you're going to be of what your hand does naturally, and when it's doing what it's supposed to do and when it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And by doing these warm-up exercises, you're going to have a better idea of when you're ready to begin drawing. Okay? Just some alternatives for you guys if you want to try some other ones aside from the circles and the lines. You could do ovals instead of circles. So you could do vertical ovals and horizontal ovals. And again, try and keep them as symmetrical as you can, but you'll notice that your hand does different things when it's drawing a vertical oval versus a horizontal oval, and there's different levels of control because you're using different parts of your hand. So it's a really good exercise too. And then for the lines, instead of just doing straight lines, you could do curved lines, where the curve is, like the wavelength of the curve is shorter and longer throughout the line, and then try and copy that line throughout the page as you go. Another one is if you're using a pressure sensitive brush, like either a pressure sensitive brush digitally or like an actual brush traditionally, you can do the lines and alternate your pressure. So you could do more pressure and less pressure alternating, and then on the next line reverse it. So wherever you were pressing harder, this time you're going to press lighter, and wherever you were pressing lighter, this time you're going to press harder, and you do a whole page like that too. So those are just a few warm-up exercises. I know that we haven't yet got into the actual anatomy of cartooning or any of the storytelling. I promise that's coming. I just wanted to make sure you guys have a good foundation and how to make sure that you're ready to begin before we actually get started. So I'll be back soon with another video, but for now, practice the warm-up exercises, and then, like I said, find something that you can draw for 1 minute, 5 minutes, and 15 minutes, and take a look at the progress and see how much different the 1 minute drawing looks from the 15-minute drawing. And just make sure that you're challenging yourself to be drawing as quickly during the 1 minute drawing as you are during the 15-minute drawing, and you should see a big difference between the the foundational structure in the 1 minute drawing versus all the details and the rendering of the 15-minute drawing. So give that a shot, see how it goes. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. If you guys like the video, please give it a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when I put out another video, and hopefully I will be back soon with another video for you guys. In the meantime, keep drawing, stay healthy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Thanks. Bye.